taking a look now here at Tom Stewart here in the bottom left corner here. Okay, and we'll again start with the back leg. Okay, and again we see kind of the toe down early deal where the toe's down before the back leg really makes any kind of unloading action, any kind of press shift, whatever to the back side. So I would classify him as a no strider. Okay. And then once the heel drops, the back leg really much more concerned with turning or spinning. There's really not much that really happens with the back leg at all in terms of driving. Okay, so the heel's down. There's a little bit going on there. There's a little bit of press happening, but he's much more concerned with turning it. Okay, and you can see how much we're still really weighted back here out of that back side, and there's a collapsed look to the swing. Okay, so Tom, when you look at the difference between you and what Adrian's doing, it's very different in terms of his, the way the back leg acts after the front heel plants. There's a driving component to it. Again, we see some sliding there as the back foot is unweighted before and through contact with the ball. Again, that's often evidence that the back leg is driven. It's not always required. The main thing is that the back leg really drives at the target. But we're not getting that there with you. The foot is down, okay, and so your back leg doesn't contribute too much to the swing. Your foot gets down, and really, believe it or not, the rotation of your pelvis is being driven by this front leg, pushing against the ground here to open the pelvis from the front, combined with the abdominal muscles kind of pulling the shoulders around with it. Okay, so we need to get more out of your back leg in terms of contributing. Okay. And also the fact that you're really trying to turn it, you kind of bring your hands and your torso, around, sooner than it needs to be. Okay, and we'll look at that as we look at the back arm. So let's kind of move on to the front side now. Okay, again, as we land, we don't want to feel like that front leg is spinning open as we land. So I would try to reduce that somewhat. Okay, but the bottom line, the exchange between your feet has got to be, you've got to get to a more natural move. Walk-up drills can help with that, and you've got to get the natural athleticism back into your footwork and back into your swing overall. Okay, working our way up, lead arm. Okay, lead arm stays pretty long. Okay, and which is good. Okay, and the hands turn over pretty good. In other words, this lead arm's not in a big hurry to kind of pull the bat around in a circle. So there's pretty good arm action there with the lead arm, and pretty good hand action through the ball. Okay, at contact, body is tilted here to a certain degree, but again, we're collapsed back here on the back side. Okay, taking a look here at the back arm and how it works. I do like the way that the hands kind of work with the elbow. Okay, in other words, the back kind of starts in a flat position, which can be okay. It's not necessarily how I go about teaching it. But what's important is that we see this bone kind of wind up here. There's a lifting and turning in of that long bone in the upper arm, which generally, is described by simply lifting the elbow. But lifting the elbow is really not what's going on. It's really the winding up of the humerus. I coach, lift and slot the elbow, but it's really the winding up of the humerus, and we're getting that there. In Tom's swing as he kind of winds up. Now as he slots, okay, the elbow slots, the bat is laid back to a certain degree, but there's just such an intent to kind of stay back that it hurts the fluidity of this arm action. Okay, and then because the leg doesn't drive to get the pelvis out in front, we kind of get the pelvis and the upper kind of turning at the same time. So really the source of a lot of these problems are with the back leg. Okay, the back arm gets close to finishing through contact. Okay, and the hands work again pretty decently. We want to get to this position Adrian's in right here, where again, that back arm has extended. Okay, the top hand has thrown past. Okay, and we want to get there pretty quickly after contact. Okay, so with Tom here, I like how the arm starts. I think the leg needs to help it more to complete an even more fluid throwing action. But most of the issues are related to the lower half, and that we're kind of trying to get set and not really do much with our legs and try to power the whole thing with our upper body. And that's kind of what's going on. But there is good rhythm to the hands and to how the throwing arm starts. Alright, taking a look here at Zach here in the bottom right hand corner. Again, we'll start with back leg and work our way up. Okay, you can see the way, the loading action I think is fine. The knee does start to wobble there a little bit, and again, usually that's the case of a guy trying to stay back. And I think that's what his mindset was. He does get a pretty good press here, as he gets through the ball. So there's he kind of gets off of that backside. There's not a whole lot of weight there, but I definitely think without the intent to kind of sit back on it, the back leg could be much improved. So Zach, make sure that you feel that back knee stay in front of that back foot. That's a little too stacked there. You want to feel like that knee is on the inside a little bit more. Okay. And then really you want to feel like, that back leg goes to kind of set the front one down. I feel like, you're more or less kind of toe tapping and then just kind of picking up and putting down without a whole lot of contribution out of the back leg. Back leg goes, but it's just, it's a little bit late in what you're doing. Okay, so the back leg should go a little sooner in the process, and it should go to set the front heel down. So put the back leg in control of the feet. Let the back leg unload to put down the front side. Okay, let's look at the front side a little bit. And again, another look kind of at the toe down early kind of mindset, and the foot flops open more than I would like to see. And the front heel, the front half of the front foot kind of starts to come up, and isn't really grounded through contact. You really see him lose ground with it, with that front foot. Okay, so we'd like to see a stronger front side, knee more behind the front foot a little more square, a little bit stronger base to hit behind. Okay, but now you can see in his swing he's creating a good bit of force. He's a strong kid, and you can see here it's kind of late, but that back leg does work. There's some pressing action there, and this front leg's really working hard. Here could probably he's producing a lot of force there. Could probably produce even more if the feet were grounded. Okay, work our way up to the lead arm. Again, we want that lead arm to stay loose, long. We don't want to force or fight extension. I think the lead arm's acting pretty good. It stays pretty close to the body. Okay, his hands turn over pretty good. Okay, so we get to this, this position here pretty quickly after contact. Okay, so he's not really in a hurry to pull that lead arm around the corner, and that's good. Okay, we want to feel the hand snap through. We want to feel like we're hitting it with our hand snapping through, not with our lead arm pulling the bat around in a circle. Okay, so that's pretty good lead arm action and pretty good hand action through the ball there. Okay, let's take a look the back arm. Okay, not a whole lot of load there. Pretty static from a load standpoint. Pretty static hand actions all the way. When he does slot, though, the bat is in a really good position. In other words, it's nice and tall, right above the hands. The elbow is worked in here. Okay, the hands are still pointing out towards the pitcher, so we're in a good position to launch from as we get here. So he's got a nice short path to the ball there. Okay. And so overall, the overall pattern here is pretty good. Let's see how the back arm finishes. Pretty close to finishing there, and again, working with that left arm, not to try to pull the bat in a circle, but to snap the hands through contact. It's working pretty good. So I like Zach's. The overall move here is pretty good. If you get a little bit, and you can stay small with the legs. It doesn't have to be a big move, but we've got to get a little bit more out of that back leg and a little bit sooner in the process. Okay. So I think adding a little bit more rhythm, a little bit more elbow action to kind of get loaded, working with the back leg, a little bit more lateral press out of the backside, to kind of add in with what's a pretty good move at the ball. Pretty good overall.